for first place, that can shoot you up. Especially in the middle of the pack of tier 2, that could be like 15 ranks.
Both of these countries have had an incredible, story within World Counter-Strike.
Exactly.
Within the top levels, you think about Ime from Romania, you think about Saw from Portugal.
Yeah.
And now you have an opportunity to build on the legacy of those stories.
Exactly.
To carve a conversation about what they can do beyond just the best in the world. It's an opportunity for Romania and for Portugal to lift a LAN title in representation of their country. I'm so excited to kickstart this grand final between Romania and Portugal. Let's have a good one.
Yeah, the desk kind of were and ahhing about who is the favorite. For me, I'm all on Romania. For a variety of reasons. First of all, kind of how close they were last year. I think, this is the exact same side. And it's about kind of continuing to push your way forward. And the other side is, just obviously a bit of bias, right? BTN is somebody that I've known quite well for quite a long time. Zello as well from last year. Both of these guys have had the chance to hang out with, get to know, and I know they're mined for the game. So all support. Not my brother BTN, but we're looking forward to what is probably going to be a really, really good game of Counter-Strike. We've had 3 maps in every single series we've had on the stream, and that's not even just today. That's so far this tournament. And the expectation, this might be no different. Early presence. Oh, with a big flank though, and there he is. Big man BTN in from behind. We'll get TMKJ, and he wants to stick around for a little bit more, but he doesn't have to fight here. This is the beautiful thing about it. They have pincered them in. 2 towards the site, 3 on the flank, and they're going in towards a meat grind. They're getting suffocated in, and Jolies are good for at least a couple from a drawn. That's massive. Down goes Rafa. Up goes BTN. He opens and closes this round excellently.
Yeah, that's dominating in terms of the kills for Romania. Finding a way to split in through middle as soon as possible, taking the fight to Portugal. This is one thing that, Portugal really liked on this map, and it's just an all-out aggression on the defense. But now, when the hit comes towards them, they find themselves completely confused and bamboozled. Of course, there was a stack on the bomb site, for sure, but to have that extra added insurance of the flank as well made things look so damn easy for the CTs.
I love that pistol gamble because they actually pushed through second mid.
Yeah,
right? And they realize there's no presence here, so they have to be lurking, posturing for that B hit. Swing. Deagle can't do anything as Zello gets a bit of a freebie there in all honesty, and there's no one even close to Rafa to trade him out. They want to fight at range, and this will always favor these rifles, and you can't shift walk away from Raga and the FAMAS. A flawless round. Just to add insult to injury, what a start for Romania. They are not pulling any punches here on Portugal's map pick.
Yeah, I mean, they want to claim this map as quickly as possible and move on to Dust 2, which has been a very kind map to them when you think about, that alternate attacks victory where they just bodied them. And I really equate that to them just thinking that, okay, look, we've got so much confidence from what we saw there, and alternate attacks have looked great on that map in their own right as well, that maybe this is the pick for us. It's a risk for sure, but as we continue to see Inferno develop, I for right now, I feel pretty confident in Romania taking that.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, of course, that previous round for Portugal, there was not much of a buy, so we can't even really say it was the end of the world type scenario. Gotta try and make this one in some way stick. EK's out, across the board, Bart. 1 Galil for Rafa. He was the one who brought the Deagle in all fairness. That's why he has a Galil in this round, not an AK as well. But he also brings a little bit more of that utility. However, the worrying thing is that Portugal don't have a lot of utility. Already, we've got a minute still left on the clock, and we're talking about them having a few smokes to work with, sure, but 2 flashes, no mollies, no HEs, so they're not going to be able to really push people out of certain positions. It's going to make this just a little bit awkward. I saw Crossfire. 1 long, 1 short. And there's something that Portugal don't. A Molotov dropped into towards top mid.
And now 45 seconds. They've not cleared out anything. They know there's Brackett's presence, but they have got to know that there's also Banana presence. And a drone will get 2 on that MP9. It forces Portugal's hand back to this A bomb site. And that's where 3 players are available. And that's where a 4th player is also coming into this site. This should be a lock and key round for Portugal, for Romania rather.
Yeah.
And Portugal get that. They know that they have no avenues in. They have been just destroyed in this round, even with just 2 kills.
The only issue is look at it. They're leaving Adron alone here.
No, they're saving.
Yeah, they're going for it. Yeah, they are. They're falling back. I mean, I don't know what this play at the end here is for Rafa. because
you want to keep 3 alive. Genuinely.
Yeah, exactly. 3 alive means you can at least sort of buy around this, but the only thing I was worrying about is if they actually made that quick reverse back, Adroma's in a bit of trouble. He's alone there with like 11 points of HP, but even at the end, I'm a bit perplexed as to what Rafa's even doing. Why, 9 seconds? Where's he actually trying to go? Unless it was looking for the AK upgrade, but I don't know. That felt very weird.
But then you're getting greedy, right?
Exactly.
Either way, in that situation, I'm tucking tail and following my teammates.
Yeah, we're into the 4th round of this game and still only got 1 kill so far across all 5 players for Portugal.
Yeah.
Literally nobody stepped up yet.
I mean, these CT setups look very solid. They look very... They're playing like favorites right now, Romania.
Yes.
And I admire that about them, that they're playing to really stamp down on Portugal. And, Portugal have had their own fair share of tough situations throughout this tournament. And now they're looking to claw it back, and that's a great way to start things off, but you card out. Cracking headshot to silence Portugal initially.
He's lightning fast, Jacquard out. Like we said, when he played at Pro League with Para, he had a really nice couple of moments. Over on the B stream, I got to catch him a couple of times, and a bit of a joy to watch when he gets going. 4 versus 4. And of course, we still do have some level of a buy around what was saved, but you've got Mac 10s. It does make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. BTN delivering so well as Snappy falls. That IGL battle's only been going one way, and Raga and BTN want a little bit of a taste of more. Raga does well, but over faces from both BTN and Raga give this 2v2 a chance. No Peach. And Rafa with that bomb down. Give the best opportunity for Portugal to get around on the board that we've had so far in the start of this map. Re-smoking towards CT. That'll limit where they can go. Pop flash in, but it actually does more damage towards Zello and Jacquard than anyone else. And they're already starting to chip away at this clock. They do have a kit. They have a flash, they have a smoke, but they've got to fight. And they've got to utilize this smoke pretty effectively as well. Going to be on towards the bomb. So it's all about what Rafa can do. No, Peach, he will get one of his own. Tap on towards the bomb. He has the kit now as well. Zella might just try and stick this. He might just stick this, but no Peach. Knows his lineups, his angles. And he will get an important kill. Portugal, thankfully, get that round.
We talk about the win conditions for Portugal, and we were always, denying them that success and saying, maybe just the team that they played was just not good enough on the day.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think what the Desk touched upon is just how they do the little things, and the little thing there is just playing that post plant and believing in the Crossfire for as much as possible. Having a player coming through and staying on the site, giving enough information to the player on Banana, and they just get it over the line. And now you've immediately put pressure onto Romania to respond, to give them they have to give a little bit more respect now, these CTs.
It's true. I know they can't just kind of play this super simplistic, raw, puggy style. It might just work. Bit of damage dealt towards those top banana players.
Well, Portugal now at this
quiet.
point, yeah.
Portugal actually haven't got any information about either setup, so that's the thing that worries me a little bit. Are they going to come down? That'll stop them wrapping in towards short quickly.
Neither do Romania, genuinely. They've smoked off Half-Wall multiple times. They have car control. But now Portugal start to give a little bit of info and say that they have brackets. They're not making it any secret. 45 seconds left here, and Romania will send in a third rotation. And I think that Romania are also considering if they want to gamble a fourth. I wouldn't mind it. Once this half-wall smoke clears, they'll have an inkling.
This is aggressive, but I like it. But Chicago gets caught on the other extension. Or needs to go huge. Oh, it's a big shot on the scope as well. Zello has no right to get away with a second kill. Maybe not even the first if he's kept alive. And the chance, he's brewing. He opts for the AK-47. 3 versus 2 numbers advantage. And a whiff spray from Crazy surely gives the advantage back over. Zello trying to pressure. And he has put up an absolutely ridiculous round there. And he gets the AWP as the cherry on top to once again push forth in towards the next. Zello, what a player.
Mobile turret from Zello, swinging between so many different angles, and it's only given a mere minutia to connect, and everything lands for Zello. Highest rated player in the tournament, and continuing to show that much dominance here for Romania. Obviously, there are so many things to be excited about this team, but
Yeah.
of course when Zello is reaching these highs that we knew he was capable of, it just makes it that much more exciting.
Absolutely. I mean, we kind of even spoke about it in that third place playoff where we were saying, Kindo, incredible game, beautiful series, best player on the server, second best player of the tournament, second best AWPer of the tournament. Because you just can't discount Zello. That's just how good he is. What a player. And you kind of fancy him on any sort of a jiggle peek here. Crazy is a little bit insane to try and test this. It's a bot flash over, he gets forced off the angle. And they do need to be a little careful here, Romania, just because he's isolated. And it's Tech 9s, Mac 10s on the other side, bar TMKJ with a hero AK. Those Tech 9s can get up on his face. And again, shotgun hopping, you still kind of favor him.
Yeah, I mean, literally the round previous, right? So we'll see what he can get done on that B bomb site, but they're not going towards him. They've got Snappy that has made his way into brackets, and he wants to go charging in to split into this A bomb site. But again, Romania still have that 3-player setup. They still have that kind of manpower to shut things down. And I don't know what inkling Portugal have here to suggest the rotation, but they're going to swing back towards the B bomb site.
That's a beautiful molly here from BTN. The timing is excellent, but he gets flashed off the corner. And he gets caught on a different corner to make matters even worse. They're going for a B split, and they're going to go late. There's still 2 players over towards B, and we know what Zello's got up his sleeve. You don't want to discount him. Adron's also probably got to get bare minimum 2 if they want to give this a chance. He has all of these steps. Pop flash is brilliant, and he gets a bit of damage, but it's not going to be enough. They want to try and fight. He can't quite flick. That's the sight, and probably the round 2. In a 2 versus 4, I mean, they might give this a go, but they really don't have a lot of chances here. They get gifted over the first, so that at the very least is something to work with. At range, they've got a new box player now known about. Molotov comes down, but Chicago gets out in front of this. So maybe a chance, the tentative play here as TMKJ has the AWP and his head ripped off his shoulders, 6 feet under. Chicago thrust into a 1 versus 2 with a tag on towards no Peach, but it's Crazy who delivers an all-important kill to deny.
Just great tethering there from Portugal. As soon as a little bit of information is given, they hold on to it with both hands and make sure that no matter what happens, there is a trade available. TMKJ has got that AWP and yet still doesn't commit to a repeat. It's enough to get the job done, and Portugal get themselves their second, snap the economy of Romania, and very similarly to their previous bracket games, just live.
Unfortunately, I mean, expectations for us are pretty tempered. I mean, there's no buy, right? We're not expecting really anything from Romania. A consolation kill or 2 would be nice, but it does feel quite unlikely. A nade, Crazy, no Peach, very simple stuff as well. Let's clear out Boiler. PTN might be able to get potentially one, but his backpack spotted. And that really feels like it'll be it. They're isolated, it's quite easy fights, and of course it is a low buy, so we don't read into it too heavily. But what we do read into is actually just a little bit of recovery. Throughout the last 4 rounds from Portugal, it may have been a shaky start, but they've responded well.
And they always do. That's what we've kind of known and figured out about Portugal as this bracket has gone on. And one thing you have to credit both of these teams is just, again, the tenacity that they've shown, the resilience that they've shown. They've both had tough brackets in different senses, and they've both risen to the occasion. And you've got to give credit to both of the IGLs, BTN and Snappy, again, for different reasons.
Oh, Snappy. Speaking of, he should have got that kill. The fact that he doesn't, actually a bit of a whiff. I mean, Adron's fallen away, avoiding a flame, and also backtracking. He never really should win out that duel. Smoke down, aptly timed. That'll just force Portugal to pump the brakes. But it feels like they want to be heading in that direction of A anyway. 3 players here, and the one with the bomb is also in this direction on the back of no Peach. But they don't have to commit. 1 minute 10, we've got so much time for Portugal to try and figure out what they want to do. And they might even just leave TMKJ here to see if anybody overextends.
Yeah, you don't mind parking him there at all. Car control at this point in the round is so valuable. And they're just going to keep recycling smokes. And if the round gets late enough and they commit to A, you've got that late rotation cutoff point as well. So it's a power position for sure. 45 seconds now And it doesn't even look like they're going to tech tail. It looks like they're going to commit even after making said noise.
Yeah. And they just re-smoke.
Gray screen.
Yeah, they're going to have to go through this. They don't really have the util to go through this either. They got a molly and they got a flash, right? It's going to make things very, very awkward. The flash does pretty damn well. The flames aren't causing too much of a problem as BTN finds both. And he looks for a triple behind it, which he delivers. Talk about leading by example. BTN with a bountiful round for him to find Romania's 5th.
Yeah, that's beautiful work there from Romania. Chaining those smokes again and again and making sure that if Portugal want to go through that, they're either going to have to break it open or they're going to have to go full gray screen. And they go for that latter option and suffer the consequences. Great protocols there from Romania to have a player come through that CT smoke and also have the site player fight forward instead of behind in the back lines and kind of like new box or emo.
Yeah, yeah. Well, actually quite a tough timeout for Portugal too, because they've got to discuss the ramifications of potentially losing this, right? Because if they are, they get broken, and it probably means that Romania even get to sort of bare minimum 7 rounds. CT side Inferno, an Inferno which is a map in which last time I checked was like 52% CT side, so a pretty even map, generally speaking. It's a big positive for Romania. To start well and finish well is exactly the way you want to be going about the first half of your opponent's map pick. Orbs up both ways. But while Rafa, you know, he has his moments, Zello is just lights out. And he has been so far this map, 7-3. Credit to him, it's the new boy of Adron. He's also put up a lot of good numbers.
Yeah, I've been really impressed by him throughout this tournament. Called upon very quickly and has stepped up to the plate. And now looking to claim his first LAN trophy. Very long road to get there, but it's closer than ever before. Portugal now claim brackets yet again. It's been a portion of the map that Romania haven't really opted in to reclaim. But even still, they're still finding ways to win. And now when they finally do, Rafa's there to punish.
Snappy once again in a very far forward position. Up towards B, but still behind that smoke. But even with the numbers now, this does change things. We need to see somebody get proactive towards Romania. I don't think they can really afford to just sit back and hope the fights come to them. Re-smoke going to come forward. Snappy creeps forward through it, but then he actually pulls off the angle. Gets a bit of a tag on a fadeaway towards the draw. But his TMKJ gets incredibly fortunate as that spam connects. Adron reposition, and that'll cost him. This is another potentially costly move as Crazy overextends, and BTN delivers, but they were setting up for that B split, and well, they just got the B site itself.
Yeah, I do like that safety in case things do go wrong and there is a side anchor or a player in CT, there would be a split that's available for Portugal. But luckily, a drone falls to the hands of TMKJ and they simplify that concept very easily. Portugal find themselves their 4th, and they showcase that they found a little bit of a hole in Romania, and that's that. It's a susceptibility of arch side.
Yeah.
And that banana collapse as well.
Absolutely. Good work from Portugal again, though. Great response, and not only a response, but an emphatic one, right? Only the one casualty. It's a really, really solid round, all things considered. I mean, a little bit of fortune for TMKJ's kill, but you take them all the same. And sometimes, fortune's part of the game, really. You have to be completely bluntly honest. Not something you can factor in, not something you can prepare for, but you got to understand that it will happen. John just gets caught on that reposition. Interesting call to be made here on what buy we actually get out, if any. And they are going to go for that force. And for the most part, it's fine. It's just Chicardo who takes the real brunt of it with just an MP9.
And listen, SMGs on this map feel like rifles in a lot of positions. I mean, so many close range spots that you can make work. And if you got the long lines covered from Zello, you should be good. Late ult mid peak here from him. And definitely falls away knowing that he could really be a dead man if he went and stayed for a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's definitely a bit of conditioning, knowing that if they don't peek mid early, they're not going to peek mid at all. So then maybe I can have a look into a second mid, see if anyone's creeping up on me. And he does it without any support, and he still gets away with it. Granted, no kills, but no information. But in the same vein, maybe the lack of information is hence why we see a 3B stack early. But as they start to move it towards Banana, they're going to realize there's not a lot here. Zello takes a pop shot, gets tagged, gets out. And it will be Adron who gets an incredibly important one. And now there's not to pounce on towards Banana. And Portugal got to realize that there's the potential that they've lost all banana control. They actually even could be getting split and caught in via mid. They've got to be really careful of this.
I don't think they're aware of it because now they are taking way too long to commit to this A site. You've got a player already dedicated to a potential rotation and a fourth player that's on standby.
Yeah.
Here comes in the little bits and bobs of utility, but this is going to be a tough crossfire to break.
Absolutely. BTN tucks his head, but Zello for the first. And the second with an O-scope as well. BTN will support his star AWPer, as Chicano cleans up the mess for a flawless Romanian 6th. What can you even say? I'm running out of words to talk about Zello. Just the confidence, the audacity, and the consistency with some of these shots.
Yeah, that no-scope headshot is insane. I mean, thinking that you're going to hit that shot in the first place is like
just the balls
crazy.
to do it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, the best part about that for Romania is even if he misses that headshot, I think that's still around for Romania every day.
Yeah, BTN's there.
Yeah, you've still got a pit player as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as far as things go, Romania reading this defense, or sorry, the offense of Portugal very well.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. They're reading like a book. It's a complete mismatch right now in terms of, you know, this calling game. And we spoke about this comparison of IGLs and sort of snappy versus BTM. It is one-way traffic so far, but diving Deagles find one onto Raga. Zello did move over to pick up utility, but then didn't. Chicano gets one through the smoke, but the bomb will go down here. So already, this does feel like it has a little bit of legs behind it for Portugal. The only issue is just how low TMKJ is, and the fact that he only has a Deagle.
Yeah, that one entry has done a lot of good work for Portugal, and now they've got to hold on in the post. It's been a really good selling point for this team across this tournament. Now they've got to do it one step further. Watch for this lane player pushing forward. TMKJ will find two on the Deagle. It's all TMKJ, and sure that nade lands, but time is ticking. They've got to speed things up here, and there's still a player on site to deal with. Rafa, the thorn in the side, and Rafa steps up. Every post plant seemingly going the T-side's way.
Yeah, honestly, I really like the adjustment, and again, you know, kind of said the call from Snappy, a quicker play. Let's just pounce in towards mid, because the thing is as well for Portugal, in the conditioning they've been setting for Romania, they've actually been getting top mid control uncontested basically every round. They've always been getting there. It's just
they paused a lot.
Yeah, they just struggle to then move forward from there, right? That's always the issue. But this time they're like, let's just go quick. We're not actually getting test skin. No one's fighting us in towards top mid. So let's just continue going. And even if we have to go in towards a flame, we can get a fight on our hands. And they do. And then Team KJ gets a couple more behind it, despite being on 4 points of HP. Credit to him. We highlighted that guy yesterday as well. He had a real nice couple of moments. Hot flash is excellent. Zello, no chance in that one. And neither for Chicano as he gets caught by Crazy.
You know, TMKJ was the reason why they even came back against Kazakhstan in general, right? They had this impact on impact round on Vertigo. And now you've just kept your head above water long enough for players that we were hoping to step up to start stepping up in Crazy and Rafa.
Well, in this final round, Raga's left all alone in a 1 versus 5. Unlikely, to say the least. And they're not even going to go towards a site, unfortunately, either. They're going to do their due diligence and play it methodically, but you really feel like they don't actually have to be perfectly honest. And they don't. No Peach whizzes past his teammate's head as he deletes Raga. Nice shot. And honestly, a really nice recovery from Portugal, too.
I've got to say, I think this I'm seeing the best level of both of these teams right now.
Yeah.
I'm seeing fantastic reading from BTN, but I'm also seeing very good adaptability from Snappy on the other end. So it makes me excited for this series as a whole. I don't think that there's going to be a favored team on either which map at this point with what I'm seeing in terms of the level. It's everything that I could ask for. It's not what I was expecting if you talked to me before we started this tournament. But I'm very pleased with what I'm seeing from both of these squads.
Yeah, I've got to agree. So, big pistol round here. Especially being that we're tied completely even. Zello tries to catch one on the cross. No, Peach gets a good amount of information as he just jumps across second mid. Doesn't need to fight. Doesn't need to stick around. Just get that information, fall back and support. Zello takes a preemptive tap in towards Boiler in case of a swing. But it never came.
Now advanced positioning Trying to be found here by Romania, and of course it's Zello to open things up, and before he falls, he finds a second. But Rafa, the snake in the grass, trigger discipline, can he find multiple? He sees the bomb planter, and he nails the second as well. Would have loved the third, but now he makes this round possible for Portugal into this 2v2.
That's a really bad oversight. Nobody clearing over towards balcony. It might actually end up costing them as Crazy has put it into a 2 versus 1 in favor of Portugal. Raga got to roll back for the years. He's running low on ammo, but he might just have a chance. He's trying to reposition because he knows he needs to reload. He can't afford to be caught off guard without ammo. Raga, 1 versus 2, and he steps up. Not always called up to bat, but when he does, it's a home run.
Well, let's not forget how he iced out alternate attacks, right? It was his 1v2 to close out a dominating Dust 2, and now giving a slight edge to Romania despite the hiccup of not clearing Balk.
Yeah.
Commiserations there to Rafa for making that possible, but Raga just a little bit better there in the clutch.
I think more than anything, though, that really does feel like a sigh of relief because of that oversight.
Yeah.
If you lose that round, it's just so tilting thinking, we lost because of one thing like that. They spotted the Estrada stack. They should just run towards B here because they spotted 3 of them.
Yeah, I don't want overextensions here if I'm Romania. There's no need to, genuinely. And now BTN will still get flashed in. He hears a lot of dropping bodies there, jumping around, and he may even consider getting flashed through that smoke, but instead he'll play it smartly, he'll wait for it to dissipate, and should be able to take contact. They've got Molotovs as well if they want to flush these players out.
I'm baffled we're still
I know,
sticking
right?
around
Yeah.
for the fight
No
here.
half-wall control by this moment is insane.
Oh my god, there's 3 people around this corner. BTN is in trouble, and he's dead. And more could follow. Thankfully, Raga gets yet another 2-piece, and Chicago and Adron added a lot of cash to the bank. So all in all, it was a fine round in the end, but it had the potential of being incredibly scary.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have wanted that to become a complete committal there from Romania, but it works out. A slim margin of a lead now for Romania as the guns come out for Portugal, and Rafa, he's going to continue that trend now. Glass cannon AWP.
Well. Rafa. Good shot, good find. Glass cannon, and he makes it sing loud. And it may be feeble in terms of the defense, but the offense hits like a tank. Nice shot from him. Tron's got the bomb on his back. He needs to be a little careful. Swinging to find Zello. Down he goes, 5 versus 3. Back against the wall, but an uncharacteristic miss for both shots. He should get punished, but he's still alive, and he's still hitting some pretty corker shots there. Crazy not cleared, and that'll be the round. Chicago, surely no chance. 1 versus 4 would require a massive overface, and Portugal won't give it up.
Instant impact there from Rafa on that AWP. Huge risk to go glass cannon. 1 shot and you're dead, but somehow, even with those misses, he reorients to find himself another frag before falling. And it's just so important to make sure that they shut down that A play.
Well, unfortunately, for Romania, investment's not exactly looking favourable. Triple AK-47, Mac 10 and a Tech 9. Bit of Uto, sure, but a close shot by Rafa. He actually gets really unfortunate there. Felt like he shot perfectly on, but he must have just missed. We're getting close with those wall bangs as well. And BTN is relentless in terms of these opening duels. He is single-handedly creating so much space for the IGL.
He realizes how valuable it can be to have it that early on in the round and to put pressure on those B players to either retake Banana or be careful about it. And as soon as they show that much presence, they walk and slink their way up into this A site. How aware are Portugal that they can be in for an A execute this quickly?
Flashbang, banks over, but it won't affect Rafa, and no Peach able to find one of his own. Oh, Rafa again, yet 1 more kill. This Crossfire is so good. And it's completely nullified the offense. Chicago avoids the nade, but he's not going to avoid the outcome of this round. It's looking like it might even be flawless.
We sing Zello's praises repeatedly throughout this tournament, but right now, it's the Rafa show. Significant impact on that A bomb side, multi-kill after multi-kill, and it is really causing some concern for Romania because they cannot break through this Crossfire because of that.
It's true. They just cannot seem to whittle it down. This is very interesting indeed. The spot that we find ourselves in, if you look at it, maybe you zoom it out in a bit more of a macro sense and just look at specifically gun rounds, Portugal have won a hell of a lot more than Romania.
Yeah, for sure. That economic advantage can only take you so far. You've got to prove it when the economy is solid for both squads. And unfortunately for Romania, it won't be in this one. They cannot prove that just yet.
Well, it goes eerily quiet. Of course, Romania, it's just pistols here. And barely even upgraded ones at that. Expectations feel relatively tempered. Nade could do a hell of a lot. Oh my god, does it. Over 100 damage there across 2 players. A second behind it will confirm the kill onto Zello. It's down he goes. Rafa gets bailed out by Crazy. Be careful on the flank. It's a quick flick and a quick find up towards the drawn. One does cross, but Crazy there to make sure that nothing is a problem. Only the one casualty. Portugal take the lead for the first time this game.
Yeah. Better late than never. And again, it reeks of what happened against Kazakhstan, right? I mean, they struggle to keep pace with them for so long. And then they just get that 1 inch. Somebody has a great play. It fires up the team. It gives them just a little bit of energy to get it over the line. And then they start stringing things together. They start to get a little bit more confident in their setups.
Yeah. You know, we've been singing the praises of Rafa, but a bit of an unsung hero, Crazy.
Yeah.
He's actually got a better KD than them.
Yeah.
17-9 so far.
Not dying as much. I mean, valuing his life in a very significant position of pit as well.
And you know what? This is exactly what Crazy did in the qualifiers for Portugal and why they were so scary coming through. He was really, really good. You know, for me, I mentioned on day 1 when we got to catch these guys, saying he was the one I was looking towards just because some of the maps he had in the qualifiers were ridiculous. The impact, we're seeing a lot of it here once again. And a nade. A big find to open things up on towards the drawn. But Zello's still ever present. You cannot overlook this guy. Individually, he can be the difference maker. Chicano tries to go for a timing peek as the smoke plumes, but falls away from the idea. Zello going to get caught isolated towards short. And Ragger's making a move, and he hears a lot of information. He might even be able to set up a wrap towards B if they wanted.
Yeah, he has that opportunity for sure, and TMKJ's really got to have his wits about him. He's holding the smoke, thinking that maybe somebody's going to come through gray screen, completely unaware of this opening that's in the defense. And with Raga getting that kill, this B bomb site is open for business, and now all of a sudden, Romania are favored in the post.
Yeah, especially considering this man's here. Oh, and he misses the shot on towards No Peach. In a weird way for Chicano. Maybe even staying alive in towards under would have been the play. Snappy goes above that smoke, now goes through it as well. Will he clear? Close right. Yes, he does. It's so shaky and he gets such an important kill. They know where the last guy is. And no Peach can even hold 4 rotations. He's got to get a kill and he does.
Wow.
Oh my god. Snappy does so well. Just the 1 kill makes all the difference.
And the idea to push ahead and suggest that he's the only player coming from CT, considering No Peach was spotted in top mid, maybe he's coming back through Banana. Maybe that flank is coming in late. And as soon as that swing comes through, he gets absolutely totaled by No Peach.
Yeah.
Just brilliant round there. Snappy has 3 kills right now, but that 1 kill could just save the entire map altogether.
Yeah, that 1 kill alone could be the equivalent of 10. Just put Portugal into double digits. 2 rounds ahead of Romania now on their map pick. Really good to see. Out of control. It's tentative in all fairness from Romania. Just a little worried about the potential util set that can come forward. There's the nade. Let's do a bit of damage, but not incredibly worrisome. We're going to see an early rotation coming through from Rafa. He's going to very early in this round go and support and bolster up this B site.
Unfortunately, right now for Romania, I'm seeing the same strategy being run in terms of the default. They take early card control, they try to burst through this A brackets as soon as possible right after. But 2-3 rounds in a row now where Portugal have found the answer. What is the solution? How do you adapt now if you're BTN? If your initial game plan, if your initial anti-stratting has not worked?
It's very true. I think the unfortunate thing for Romania is that that default and the game plan in that previous round is brilliant all up until the post plan. Where it's just it's a little bit of an oversight, a little bit of an overface, and maybe sort of should have been treating those smokes as if they weren't there. They treat them as they were walls and let people walk through. Now Peach has the opportunity, spots one, and the second, but it'll be at the cost of his life. So an information gather, sure, but now they get to suffocate these two B players, wrap in towards them, and they all can't afford to miss. It may have been later, but John will get that kill. He gets a dink on towards the second, so TMKJ got to do it all, and he's out of ammo to make matters even worse. Round should be won here. It's a 2 versus 3 and an incredibly difficult retake. I don't even think Portugal will give this a go.
Yeah, you gotta save 100%. You've got plenty of cash. Let's not let this game spiral out of control due to economics.
Yeah.
Romania, though, rinsing and repeating and believing in that call, as you said, it was a brilliant situation. It was how they applied themselves in the post. This time, they make sure that there's a second player coming in through CT, as well as a full focus on Banana, making sure that the side anchors are having their attention pulled each way.
Snappy might, unironically, get a chance at a kill here.
Oh.
No, he doesn't. He gets hunted. I like the call to hunt, actually, because while there's still plenty of money over towards Portugal, and actually for, well, in Snappy's case, quite a few rounds. He had like 11k coming towards this one. It's just about putting some sort of thorn in the side of this Portuguese side who've I felt like, for the most part, in the gun rounds, that they've been sort of pulling away. So Romania keeping this game close. We just haven't seen enough consistency on the gun rounds and the full buy specifically, but no time like the present. Zello back in towards that orb. He's orbing. He can be incredibly difficult to play against because of his pace.
Love the adaptability here from Portugal, as they say, we don't want to lose car early this time around. They'll fight for Banana. They'll plant TMKJ down close. BTN doesn't want to give that space for free, so they'll try to nade it open and spam down range, but the damage is already done. They're going to have to take a whole lot more time if they want to clear out bottom B.
Spam. Doesn't connect, but the nade will. On towards ramp and a jump. Gonna take the bulk of it. Unfortunate for him, last 3 rounds, he's been the only one taking neutral damage in the early round. So always starting them off at like 60 or 50 points of HP. Zello also takes a bit of damage himself, but doesn't really matter on the AWP. We're under the minute mark, and Romania still seem a little indecisive.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they would love to do a B split again, especially considering Raga is still alive. But now you're starting to feel like Rafa is aware of this possibility. He's dancing between library and CT. And it's not going to matter. They're going to speed things up here. Nade up within the smoke. PTN finds an entry and so does a drone. That simplifies a whole lot of this round. And now all of a sudden, you can even have Raga as that late lurk to punish the save.
Well, Raga does exactly that. No P's going to get caught. And the remaining 2 might actually be in a problematic spot as well. It kind of feels like you may as well send them in. I know they don't have loads of money, but any kills are good kills. And we'll have a real knock-on effect towards the buy in the next coming rounds. Maybe not exactly the next one to follow, but the one after that. Raga eventually will fall. And there is an AK then scooped up, so in itself is a bit of a silver lining.
Spot's a little bit of a head there for BTN. And BTN will take out his teammate in Rafa as well. They know exactly where Crazy is, and as an arm is spotting, oh, just one bullet needs to get landed. Crazy tucks in the other way. Oh, that would have been lovely to have if you're the captain, but either way, round 1, and a lot of rebuys asked to come through.
And Portugal gonna call for a timeout, and the coach gonna get on the mic. 2 in a row from Romania is good. These are 2 solid gun rounds, rounds that are replicable, rounds that give us a lot to work with, but it's still a tied game. It's still anybody's game here in map number 1. It's just looking at that buy for Portugal, which worries you. You got Rafa in towards the orb, an AK save for Crazy, and then it very quickly drops off. MP9, Deagle, and Snappy just on the USPS for the moment. It's still technically though a half buy because we've got money left over in reserves to buy in towards the next.
Yeah, absolutely, and we've seen what kind of impact Rafa can have on this sniper. He's gonna nade open the smoke. He doesn't know a player crosses to the left, but he won't get punished either way. So I'll back off and reset. But that opening play doesn't net them that opening 5v4. They do get some significant damage on Azello though, and that will, although it's not confirmed, be something that they can hang their hat on.
Yeah, and it might actually end up being very helpful later down the line. Still, the default top car control taken. We're going to have to commit here because we've still got 2 players over towards A who are having a little poke and a prod. I think you basically just want to try and avoid the AWP. Being that of Rafa. He's had a really nice stalwart couple of moments, but at the same time, so is Crazy. And both of which are playing over towards A.
And it looks like Romania want to go at them, want to go straight at these blooming stars. And no rotation coming through. That third player leaving the A bomb site and forcing these guys to step up where it counts.
Well, Rafa, he steps up where it counts. BTN delivers. Crossfire is so strong. And it's given all the kills over. All the kills for Crazy. And Zello, who got tagged up so much in the early part of the round, has no choice but to save. And they might even know where he is as well. They might have even heard him step in towards apartments. So it's if he can save. I think he might have just slipped the net. But well played. The 2 premium guns in this round go massive, right? And Crazy and Rafa once again help Portugal extend that lead. It's always been those 2.
It's basically a 2v5 with no util to stall, and it's just you've got to stand and deliver. You've got no other choice. Rafa hits every shot needed, and Crazy is right there to make sure that all the attention that he's drawing doesn't go to waste. And look at the performance from both of them. 21 kills, 19 kills respectively between the 2 of them. And they have just kind of pulled Portugal into this game.
Oh, well. Back into the buys. Both ways, and long-term funds a little bit more feasible over towards Portugal. They got just a tad more in that back pocket, saving for a rainy day. But it's all sunshine at the moment. At 11 to 10. Raga gets silent boosted in towards apartments. And he'll start making his way forward. It's a pretty healthy nade though, just as Zello starting to cross. He started off last round at 12 points of HP, started like this one at 55 before even seeing anybody. And it doesn't help these glass cannon.
Yeah, that's a good point. Glass cannon when he's got 2,300 in the bank. Might have forgotten, genuinely. But we'll see if that comes back to haunt him.
Yeah, it feels like an interesting decision. Even like just going for like half. Smoke over towards long. Lurk smoke for them. Want to try and fight. The spam in the corner's not bad. Bit of a move that comes through, and Raga delivers incredibly well. So TMKJ, he gets dropped. We don't need to commit here, but time's starting to tick. 40 seconds on the clock. We double it back towards B. Rafa wants to fight, and Rafa will deliver. There's that first domino that falls, and he sticks around to get that full house. Can't hit the second, though, and that'll leave that B-side barren. This should be Romania finding 11th here, and Jakarta on the lurk delivers one of his own. He's just a nuisance, but a nuisance at the thorn in the side to keep Portugal drawn towards A.
Even though Crazy finds that kill, it's round over. It's a high-risk play from Rafa. If he gets another kill, maybe he ices out Romania, but I would play the percentages there and try to back to the site and see if I can get a couple more shots off. But unfortunately, in the heat of the moment, Romania capitalize, and we go even Stevens at 11. All 24 rounds needed here in this opening map in this grand final.
Wow.
And neither team really yelling all too much just yet. You can feel the tension here. You can cut it with a knife.
Yeah, a lot of conversation there from Snappy. He's getting loud once again.
As usual.
Yeah. We saw this happen. I mean, remember what we saw against Mongolia, right? On this map. When things were a little testy, they needed a hero. And Snappy stepped up to the plate then. They need him and some. Right now, 3-13. Numbers-wise, it's been lackluster, but you give them where the credit's due. The calling's actually been quite excellent in a lot of the gun rounds.
Yeah, I mean, the T side has looked splendid. They adapted well. The CT side has looked formidable as well. Having to deal with how pacey BTN has been wanting to call in some of these rounds is very important. And these initial nades also soften up for Snappy, and he'll go to town here. Is it another individual brilliant moment from him? And yes, it will. A double through the smoke. Blink and you miss it, Romania in the 3v5.
We called upon him, and he heard.
Ask and you shall receive.
There he is. Both without even seeing anybody, but instincts alone, give him 2. Not the start that Romania wanted. And with 1 minute 15, BTN at half HP going to try and call this side of Romania back in towards a spot of success. And the good news is there's money left over in reserves as a just in case, but they don't want that. They don't want to be playing for overtime.
No, not at all. And at this point, Romania don't find that necessary kill from Zello, specifically the Molotov, a little off the mark into Cubby.
Yeah.
And with that, I think they're just considering a possible save, unless Crazy gives up his body, and he absolutely will. Now it's a foot race back into this A side to make sure that all's well. Rafa will make it back, and so does No Peach. Do Romania want to consider it and have a go at this?
Yeah, it's a wild decision there from Crazy. It feels, I don't know, not to even go for that. Rafa, he's had so many moments so far in this map, especially the CT side, but it's No Peach up close. He's got to do something, and he misses. So Zello punishes, hits that shot, and Bomb will go down. Advantage, sure, the nade does so much, but not enough. And a re-smoke replenishing towards Moto. Pushes into a very tough 2 versus 2 as Portugal going for the full wrap over towards short. Zello is low. So a lot of owners on Jakarta out here, but no kit for Portugal makes it incredibly dicey. The lack of Utah going to hurt as well.
Oh
Zello no scope. It is the easiest thing to predict because he's had about 5 of them. But he does it once again.
3v4, Neo. 3v4 in which the CTs have gotten all of the map covered. Crazy's had an incredible map, yes, but sometimes it pays to just play back.
Yeah.
You've got to put the onus on Romania to make a play, and they were genuinely considering the safe or even a clear out of Banana, which would have been their incorrect decision. Force them to make the play.
Yeah, you hate to say it, and you know, it's a really kind of mean thing to say, but that round is completely on Crazy's shoulders. He throws it in every single way. There's no need to peek. There's no need to go for information. You've got a numbers advantage, and you've got top car smoked, and you've got a mid smoked as well. There's no need to peek there. Even if he was playing just quite simply over towards Balk and jiggle peeking, it's 10 times stronger.
Yeah, and he was alone
and
as
time
well,
was
right?
ticking too. It was like, we were sub a minute. We're at about 45 seconds. The
And even a
pressure was
3-stack on B, right? So
Yeah.
even after that, you could see how much they have to hustle back in to claim that A side. And yes, they got there in time, but you would have liked to have a little bit more presence to, you know, maybe use them util late. There's so many what ifs, but we'll have to see if Portugal can right their wrongs and take this to overtime, because Romania are knocking on the door of stealing away this map pick.
Yeah, look at the buy as well. Double M4, double MP9, Deagle coming through for TMKJ, and utility is lackluster to say the least. I mean, for the rest of this round, we got 1 smoke, 1 flash, 1 molly. So best of luck in that sense. Smoke out towards long, and Zello wants to be that first point of contact, but BTN delivers. Crazy needs 2, and he can't get it. No Peach might be able to keep them in this fight, but a 2 versus 3, numbers favoring Romania as it's starting to now pound. Cold zero box, cleared ineffectively as No Peach gets both, and a 1 versus 1. Zello, the hero, time and time again this time, misses, tagged. Molly down towards short as well. Zello is barely alive, a reposition, and he can't even go for the safe plant over towards short. But the bomb on his back, and he might be walking straight into the trap. Snappy might have read him like a book. He tucks his head in towards Cubby. It's a waiting game. It's 4D chess in real time, and Snappy's double back. Zello doesn't realize it, but maybe even him getting lost in the smoke might have helped him in this situation. But he still isn't committing yet. So Snappy falls back towards B. When does Zello make the decision to commit towards A? He doesn't realize that he has got so much time on his side. The longer he waits, the worse it gets. Now he will. Smoke towards long. bomb down as a short molly comes through, and this gives them all the time to position. I mean, think about the amount of angles that Snappy now has to clear. The one thing he's got going for him is the belt of utility. Smoke, molly, flash, no kit. And Zello, with him being low, wants to fight. He wants to play inside this smoke! But it's such a poor decision. It really feels like it wasn't necessary. In the same vein for Crazy, did we need to fight?
Who else would Snappy, Neil? Who
I know,
else
again,
would Snappy to find the impact play? He had 2 kills at one point. Impact on impact from him. And no Peach with the double on the MP9. I felt like he had half a mag in that situation.
Yeah.
And finds so much to make that clutch possible.
It was Chicago who was the first one who swung around that corner.
Who got dinked behind, right?
Exactly. And he stopped shooting because his teammate swings in front of him. And he doesn't want to go for his teammate. So then he just kills both of them. It's such a
brutal, man.
Small little misplay. And it really does end up hurting them quite a lot. But again, Snappy, we don't talk about numbers here, but just raw impact. The kills he has got have been so important. The double in towards Banana just a couple of rounds ago, that 1v1 there, kept Portugal in this one. That's a heartbreaking way to lose a round there for Romania.
And we need extra innings, dueling early through that Molotov.
Of course it's
Snappy gets, again, a huge hit onto Zello, but he doesn't complete the kill. And there's still time for Zello to have his level of impact. Hasn't been the superstar of note here on Inferno. Still has had impact. But now would be that time. Now would be that time to just sucker punch their way to go 1-0 up in the series.
Yeah, I mean, a 2 HP Zello is still one of the scariest players at this tournament. I mean, it's as simple as that. This is a guy who still has immense amounts of impact, but he gets a flash. Now he's down to 1 point of HP. One more flash. You know you want to. I haven't seen a util kill in such a long time either. Either way, time under that minute mark, and Adron sitting inside of that smoke, and Zello also gets met with another smoke of his own. We've got to make a decision here. Romania feel a little bit on the fence of actually where they want to finish. They tested top Banana, but then didn't overly commit there due to a CT smoke, even though they threw a smoke of their own.
B-split.
Missed shot from Rafa. Throws a flash. It actually has a lot on towards Raga, but then Rafa misses an absolute sitter, and he's now starting to get flanked. A lot of damage dealt, but that B-split, as you mentioned, starting to try to come to fruition as Zello comes alive. This is so scrappy.
Time.
13 seconds. We've got to move. BTN hits a shot. 2 versus 4. This feels like it's falling apart, and it might even come down to the frags alone. Big kill, 5 seconds, 4. They haven't got time for the bomb plant. Snappy again saves Portugal. This man is blessed by Christ himself, as he cannot seem to lose the rounds that matter most.
My goodness. I mean, it was a perfect call. They even caused Rafa to miss multiple times. They had the inroads into that B-split. It's been so kind to them in regulation. And yet still, that little bit of a clutch factor, that little DNA that's in Portugal right now to get them over the line. They live in the first round of OT, and it just feels like it's been given to them now, Neo.
Yeah, I'm not even going to mention Crazy or Rafa. If Portugal win this round, it's Snappy. 3 rounds at the tail end of this just been like the most ridiculous 1 or 2 kills that have had so much weight behind them. Rafa, what a shot though. He's ramped up on the CT side tenfold. Since he's had that AWP in play on CT, Rafa has looked unstoppable. I mean, Zello's obviously had his moments, but he's kept them pretty quiet. Molotov down off the back of the healthy damage dealt towards no Peach. They do call just to pump the brakes. Crazy. Doesn't clear close left. Down he goes. Chicago, a lot of damage. And the HE might just do it. He's going to bank around. More damage dealt, but no kill. 4 versus 4, all goes eerily quiet, no Peach. He doesn't realize he's dancing with the devil on the edge of a smoke as BTN starts to smell a rat, but he walks past him.
What?
That might even give no Peach a kill
No
here.
way!
And it does. It gives no Peach. 1 for 3 and a second behind it too. 1 versus 1. BTN's going to lead by example in this clutch. And it's Rafa to face him, a man who has looked unstoppable for a lot of this second half.
He's got a lot of time to work with. He doesn't have a kit somehow
There's
in
gotta be
overtime.
one down, surely.
But yeah, surely there should be one on the site. Either way, He's got to get a move on. He's got to start clearing out angles, but he decides to go arch side, thinking that maybe BTN has overcomplicated this. Yeah, okay, there is one here available. But again, bomb halfway gone. He's got to search, and now he smokes it. But BTN's on the side proper, and the in-game leader steps up when it matters and equalizes it right at 13s. What impact from both of these captains.
Yeah, brilliant stuff, man. Again, I've got to talk about that decision to go for the long side wrap.
Oh,
I think the only reason he's probably gone for it is actually because it's been calmed. I had a kit and I died long. That's probably the only thing, because...
But there's players on the site, right? Surely those guys had kits.
Yeah, but it's probably just because they don't know where BTN's playing from. It's probably the only safe kit they can pick up, in real air quotes there. But, man, BTN well played. And Rafa just was running out of time. Portugal going to call for their one timeout they've got in overtime. Utilising it now. Going 2 for 1 in OT. Makes a world of difference. If Portugal can do it on the CT side in particular.
When we hit overtime, of course, there is that extra timeout available.
Yeah.
And I really recommend for these teams to utilize it as much as possible. I feel as though it's not used as much.
The difference is for Romania, and probably the reason why they don't call as many is because they don't have a coach. So they
That's
don't
true,
need,
right?
so
But
BTN
at
can
this
just
point,
calm the
I
whole
trust
time.
BTN to kind of rally the troops a little bit more, right? There's that little bit of an edge for a vet IGL that he doesn't necessarily need a coach to kind of talk through.
I think probably their thing is that he can just calm all the time, right? So it's
Yeah,
like I guess the end of a round plus the 15-second start of a round is more or less a timeout in itself. That's my only thought process why they don't call as many of them. I mean, most of the timeouts they call just feel like it's to actually make the opposition feel uncomfortable. Good trade there from Adron, just to make sure his spacing was okay. And Raga didn't die in vain. TMKJ, he was on the left-hand side, but because he's isolated, he just doesn't want to die for nothing. Not exactly before Snappy rotates back over, so Portugal opting for a 2-2 split across both sides.
No recycled smoke here for CT, so Romania considered their options as to whether they want to reclaim the B bomb site, but the retake utility is in, and Portugal will reaffirm that for the CTs. Romania now, again, in an awkward situation with 55 seconds left on the clock, want to commit to at least brackets control. They don't have to commit off the back of it. They still got a little bit of time to bleed. But look at crazy close range.
Flash doesn't really affect him. Second one doesn't really affect him. So he becomes very effective himself. At first isn't bad, but the fact that he gets out of dodge there alive is huge. And he gets the support of Rafa to make that play stick. I mean, short is on the lock and key. Zello wants to fight though. He's happy to go head to head. And Adron will find a bit of space himself so they can pinch him in towards his site. Crazy can basically only be one place. And they clear him effectively. Adron on the drive-by. Moto smoke comes down. Plant. All coming towards place. And a timer put above the head of Portugal here in this 2 versus 2. Quite significant damage being dealt, but Zello shot through the smoke. Spidey senses tingling as Snappy gets dealt with. It's all down to TMKJ, who gets deleted. Simple as that. I mean, what a wacky end to this. I mean, it was so kind of timid for like 80% of regulation. The final few rounds in that regulation were insane, and then overtime's been so back and forth.
Yeah, we've thrown the playbook out the window. You know, in regulation, it's let's vie for map control, let's take banana early, let's think about splits, but now we get into the nitty-gritty and we say, look, I will throw you down into the mud and we'll have a biff, right?
Yeah.
That brawl is really showing up, and a map like Inferno, especially when you get into these late stage of the bracket, it gets so exciting. That's why we love it so much.
This is scrappy Counter-Strike, puggy Counter-Strike, and we love it. This relentless aggression that we're seeing. Deep Smoke going to come through from Romania. Just to try and keep Portugal at bay in the early parts. This is a, I'm going to say Rafa, he had the right idea here. It's Raga on the other side, but he opts to just drop a smoke. Met with a Molotov, ticks a little bit in it, so it's information gathered.
Apartment's a priority here for Portugal. It's been a real key aspect of it. And they had a setup built up for Romania, but it has to get disassembled. And it's not really because they wanted to, it's just unfortunate timing.
It looked like they were tempted to push forward and then get caught off, and they're in 2 mines, and it nearly cost one of their lives. Thankfully it doesn't. Good timing of the smoke here by Raga. As we hit that minute mark, he's just going to maybe force Portugal to reevaluate and potentially even force them back towards B, which is now being setting up with a triple stack.
Pure gamble now from Zello, moving back over.
IGL's alone here. Oh my god, what are we doing? No.
Oh my god, he's playing around the smoke at this point. He's
No!
got a freebie. Snappy goes down, and with no half-wall presence, they're going to book it. They're going to book it all the way back to A.
Do you know why they're booking it? Because they know Snappy is a lurker. They know he does this every single round. He doesn't commit to these rounds in the kind of early to mid. Jello up close. Doesn't clear close right, so Crazy gets one of his own. This is such a wacky one as a Dron will then answer back. What is happening? They know there's a big pit player. Can they clear it? The answer is no. It's Jakarta finds 2, and it will be bailed out by yet another of a Dron. Standing or not, he is serving up right now.
Oh, how has Jakarta gotten away with 2 there? Perfect timing on the double swing, and there's no trade potential at all for Portugal. Only 2 players on the site, but there was a third coming in. The jig was up after Snappy goes down, and Romania have righted the ship. They found a little bit of normalcy in the chaos here and are knocking on the door of closing out Inferno here in overtime.
Absolutely true. They failed to... Oh, barrel spotted! Can't wallbang that, unfortunately, but I like the... I mean... You know,
knife edge, right?
Yeah, clutching at straws, I think, is the onus we're kind of dealing with here. Gonna go in towards Banana. Dron doesn't spot this, but they might hear this. Good timing on that smoke. We still got full belt to util on Raga and Zello. Nade round doesn't do a hell of a lot. Still tentative here.
Full info for Jakarta that all that mid-util is all a ruse. There's nobody there. A Dron and BTN have to do so much work here, and they've got to call a rotation eventually. Nothing is being moved. They're going to keep this half-full presence instantly. And then the swing out from BTN. Another kill found, but no Peach with the double trade. The site is open. The red carpet rolled out. Portugal just have to snap it together.
Why does a Dron even peek there? It feels really costly, and the flank ineffective as Crazy sticks around. Or might get a bit of a move, and he will. Misses shot in the volley. He's trying to do everything on his own. Jello can't. And Portugal stay alive. What a game of Counter-Strike we're getting here. And neither side can deal the decisive blow.
I'm just shocked that there's no arch rotation there. I mean, you have Jakarta with full mid control, at least just the information. You've got a player on Balk, I believe, as well, that should have some inclination that there's nothing being heard. You've got a little bit of a window to maybe cause a rotation or just go through CT spawn, but it doesn't happen. Portugal, powered by no Peach, find their way to just inch closer to double OT.
Well, we only go one of 2 ways. It is either double overtime, or it's Romania stealing away Portugal's map pick. By the finest of margins too. And you can see just how tentative it is in the server too. No one wants to make that one mismove.
The tension is at an all-time high here at IESF. All the chips are down, and Portugal want to send it to B through the smoke.
It's big. Dron. Oh, he gets another behind it as well. He should never get away with the second, never mind the third, but it might just be enough to put the nail in the coffin for Portugal here on Inferno as they're going up in flames when it matters most. 50 seconds, 2 versus 5 in what feels like a near impossible situation. There's no Peach and Rafa pump the brakes and try to decide. Snappy going to call from the grave and hope to bail out this side, but what do we even do? We don't have the numbers. They need a hero.
Yeah, you've just got to hope somebody gives it to you.
And the normal hero, Snappy's dead. So we've got to take Raw Angels. And it's going to be a 2v2 fight on the site, but a third rotating over as Zello starts to get the inkling that it was a double pump fake. And they come. New box player not poking his head as Zello got the angle at range. They have a flash. It doesn't really affect Zello at all. Rafa, 1v5, ace clutch needed with 10 seconds on the clock. This one's done. Romania, by the finest of margins, will be taking Portugal's map pick, and it's none other than Zello to do it. His 25th kill at the end there in what was an incredible map to kickstart this final.
They can taste it now. They can feel it. They can see it within their grasp. Romania inch ever closer to lifting the trophy here at IESF WEC.
Yeah.
it's genuinely so difficult to put out Portugal.
Yeah.
So many opportunities for players like Rafa, players like Nopij, finding their ways in terms of impact. Even Snappy, right? Don't get me. Snappy was the reason why they're in overtime in the first place, right? And yet still, they stay strong. They don't give it up. They give time for BTN to cook up a storm. And it's just enough.
There's a couple of different factors to really like on both sides. I think the calling was excellent on both sides. Even though Snappy's numbers were pretty abysmal, the impact he had in the frags he did get, super important. Basically 3 rounds in a row, 2 of which got them to overtime, 1 of which gave them that first in overtime, were all off the back of him. I think both AWPers did incredible. Zello and Rafa had incredible amounts of impact, and then Crazy too. He looked super clean all the way throughout. It just wasn't quite enough, as Romania are a tough side to put down. And they take Portugal's map pick. It's going to put a spanner in the works. Let's see what the desk have got to say about this.
Well, holy smokes, that is one way to start a grand final, guys. So many words go around in my head. Carnage probably at the top of the charts. Multiple times in that map. You know, Romania looked in a fabulous position. It slips to overtime. They're winning unlikely rounds. They're losing unlikely rounds. I guess at the very end there in OT, they look the most stable team. But my God, did they have to work to win that map.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely nuts. I was about to get ready to talk about how Portugal, again, like we talked about prior to the game starting, actually eking out rounds they maybe shouldn't be winning, like the eco round that they won towards the end there. And I thought that was going to be the tone setter. I thought that was going to be the deciding factor that took Portugal to a map win as we started the finals. That obviously didn't happen. More crazy stuff just kept happening. And I mean, it was a cool back and forth by all means, but I don't understand how we got here. That's kind of what I'm left with. Felt like every time Portugal were in a difficult situation, somebody on their side seemed to have like a +1 buff, so they would always get like an additional kill more than what they were supposed to get and what would be, you know, what you could expect out of someone. But they kept just coming in clutch, and it obviously put Romania in a difficult situation. And I'm actually surprised by the fact that Romania didn't kind of tilt harder. Like if that was me, if I kept running into that wall that Portugal set up and kind of the, I want to call it like slight luck that they had going their way, I would have been tilted.
Yeah, some of the rounds ending up going down to time, some of the rounds going on to ridiculous moments, and a lot of the rounds kind of felt like they played out in a similar way. I don't know if either of these teams know about mid-round aggression on CT side or taking back the map at all. They either go aggressive early and hold it, or they would just sit back and give up so much of the map. And for me, when you are sitting back like that, you are kind of giving the Ts the complete run of the map. And as long as the nades are solid and their trades are solid, the T side should be favored in a lot of these rounds. And you kind of saw that happen. You saw these B splits come in. You saw so much space given over both ways. Again, Portugal just about scraping some rounds through. But I feel like Romania, yeah, they were given a lot of space and they were able to take advantage of it. We saw so many of those B splits, so many of these sorts of similar rounds play out. And yeah, Portugal hung on in there for the longest time. But Romania, they just about had it. And obviously Zello with a couple of big moments on that AWP. Probably the flashiest player on the server, even if some of the Portuguese players also had their moments. But yeah, what a map to start the final.
Yeah, there we go. Like on the highlights there as well. The round that I thought would seal the deal for Portugal. Again, 10-10, you have 2 weapons saved, pistols on everybody else, and you actually get out of there scot-free. But then, yeah, Romania respond again. And it just was back and forth, just constantly. Crazy setups, crazy rounds. And here, like, nope. Yeah. How does he get that second person? I have no idea. I'll never understand. And yeah, it was quite the adventure, really, to follow them on Inferno. Yeah. So, I mean, I think we're gonna get more of the same also going into map 2. That's the wicked part.
Yeah, I mean, that highlight package was 10 minutes long, which tells you in and of itself some of the carnage that went down on map 1. How do we move on from there? I mean, that Inferno was so nuts.
Cool.
What made it so great? Let's start with this. What made that so bonkers? Was it the pressure of a final? Because for both of these teams, I'm not sure they've ever played for this sort of prize money before. And at the end of that game, they themselves would watch that demo back and say, we are doing some funky stuff here. And there has to be a reason for it.
I think it's a mixture of things. I think, yes, obviously the pressure makes you do things a little bit unorthodox or maybe like off the commonly beaten path. But I think also we got to see more out of the individuals, at least on Portugal's side, than we've done normally, at least more of them at the same time. So Nope having a good game, we've seen that before. Now we get to see Crazy having a bit of a turn up on his own right, and Rafa as well. So we have 3 players from Portugal actually being able to show up in rather big numbers, you know, from an individual point of view, and I think that's what leads us in. Like if you look back up on the replay package, like a lot of the instances have those guys involved in some way, shape, or form, and even with Snappy, who I think was sitting at like 3 frags towards the tail end of the regulation, comes through in, I think it's second to the last round or the very last round, goes aggro banana, fires 30 bullets off into the wooden plate, somehow finds a double kill. That kind of just gets Portugal around that way. So it was just like a lot of craziness just off the back of the individual play. But I think both teams actually played like pretty like refined T-sides. But I do think that also comes into play from the fact that Hawka mentioned that they were given a lot of real estate. So it's not necessarily the hardest thing in the world to play a solid and strategical / methodical T-side on Inferno if you're just given real estate and map control, obviously. So
yeah, and I especially feel that may have been a mistake from the Portugal side, because Romania were allowed a lot of comfort here. And it's not only that, it's that you're really allowing them to get into a lot of these post plants. Even if you were to win the trades, Zello would get on the bomb site with an orb, or you get players in good positions, and instead of Inferno being this structured map, you actually gave them the chance to have some of those individual moments, more so than maybe I would have expected. So I think Portugal will be a little frustrated by that. We were saying before the series, though, this second map is not necessarily a guarantee either, so I do not know what to expect after that one. I wish I could tell you. I wish I could. I feel a bit useless as analyst right now. But what do you want me to do?
I still feel like, on balance, Nexus were the better team in that first map. I do think more 50-50 situations went the way of Portugal, particularly in that second half. So I do think there are worlds where they clean that up, I don't know, 39 or something, and we just sat here in a much more ordered fashion. So I do have more confidence, I think, in them going into Dust 2. If you guys were part of that team, what conversation would you have as Romania between maps 1 and 2? Because I still think there is an angle where they need to calm down a bit. They need to relax and communicate a little bit better, because they do still have all the pieces here to clean up 2-0.
yeah, again, I think this is going to be on BTN to kind of, yes, come down to the nerves for sure. But I think they should also be allowed to have a couple of minutes to enjoy the fact that they did take their opponent's map pick. It was hectic, but they still managed to kind of get through it. Not necessarily over-focused on the fact that we made things messy all the time. It's more like we got into a sticky situation and we managed to get out of it together. That's going to be kind of the theme that we follow going into Dust 2. This is going to be the mantra that we work with, because what they did, obviously, with Cello kind of forcing things in the semifinals, that didn't necessarily pan out too well on Dust 2. So, you know, take a bit of a different approach than what you did versus Sweden. Do it more by committee than letting Zello be the sole star. Now he's had multiple occasions where he's actually had quite a bit of help. Like Adorn here, for instance, I think ends up on 25 frags as well. So, so there's more to play off of. I think Cello can take a bit of a breather. He can be more relaxed in it. I think that's just going to give some calmness to the whole team as well.
What's the game plan for Portugal?
For Portugal?
Yeah. How can they win this?
Keep this voodoo magic going.
Yeah, I think so. Have some of those tricks. You're going to have to try and shut down Zello in some way. I'm not sure how. Alan, why are you asking me this? I haven't known their win plan this whole tournament.
Because we've got to say something. I mean, is really their only path to victory here just creating absolute madness and carnage and afterplants and winning 1vx's and flanking and running down the clock? Is that really their best chance of winning this?
I will say, running down the clock, that's absolutely fair. I don't think they need to create chaos, honestly. It seems like chaos just kind of comes to them, and they handle it pretty decently. Yeah, I think they're fine with it. It seems like teams aren't necessarily as comfortable playing versus this like more laid-back passive approach, especially on the CT sides. Like, you do get into your own head thinking about, look, where should I save my utility for? Should I really, can I really, hard clear certain angles? Because you don't really know. You can't get a good read on how Portugal is set up in terms of their CT setup. So, yeah, I say just, kind of stay the course in many ways. Again, yes, they might have gotten a little bit more of the 50-50s going their way, and it still didn't end up in a map win here on Inferno, but I think that might be your best shot. Make things awkward.
Yeah, also, they're giving Romania a lot of space, but I think that's fine, because I don't think Romania's executes are that refined, and the utility isn't good enough to punish, and that's why they're in a lot of those positions in the first place, where they're not getting blinded when they're having these site holds back late round. They're not getting mollied out, really. So I think it works in that sense as well when you get into those positions. So I think there is a little method to the madness.
We hope there is going into map 2. Next up, guys, is Dust 2. It's been crazy, it's been wild, but it's as simple as this. One more map for Romania, $100,000. Let's see what happens.
Well, map number 2 begins, and very potentially the final map here at WEC 2024. However, I've learnt my lesson. We've had 3 mappers in every single game here on the stream so far at IESF. So my assumption is that that might be the same story. The only good news is that may dispel those doubts. It's Romania's map pick up next.
Yeah, and you know, look, I've got to give credit where credit is due. Portugal have stayed alive in so many of these games against such tough opposition, teams that we consider to be true dark horses in this tournament. But after all is said and done, you've got to look at the numbers. You've still got to favor Romania when you look at it.
That's
you talk about that quarterfinal against Germany. You talk about how down and out they were looking and how they just destroyed alternate attack / Germany to get into the semifinal.
Well, I mean, even like just the route that Romania have had to get here as well, it's definitely the harder
so
side.
Strong.
They've beat all the best teams, right? They got the revenge against Sweden. You know, this is one of those where they've done everything right, and it's just about essentially one more map under their belt, no matter whether it's this one or the next one. We know Dust 2 is a very good map for them, and this is the kind of prime time for Zello. This is where he does a lot of his best work. Very tentative T-side pistol around here. No Peach. Oh, the timing. Oh, that's brutal.
No.
And Zello can't punish.
Smoke in through CT though, the split will still come. A drone finds one through the smoke, sure, but the B bomb site is under fire, under scrutiny, and Crazy has found the necessary incision to open things up. Bomb will go down, pressure on Romania.
Barreling in, Raga needs more, and Jakarta will help him out. Yes, Raga falls, but TMKJ is running out of ammo. Final bullet, headshot on towards Zello. It's so messy, and TMKJ, how in God's name has he got away with that? Final bullet, gets that second kill, pulls off the reload, and with 4 points of HP, gets the third.
I mean, B-bomb side retakes are always going to be difficult, so Romania decide to kind of throw the playbook out the window and just send the bodies flying in through the choke points. And while they did find some necessary pushes back,
Yeah.
TMKJ finds some necessary impact. Had a very quiet Inferno, all things considered. But as we've noticed in this series, he's been a key talking point as to how they've clawed back.
Oh, big double nade there. Snappy with a double kill with the Mac 10. That's money in the bank, baby. But a low buy, no buy for Romania doesn't really make too big of a difference. So, in towards this full buy, this is where we got to see them get going. And I guess the interesting thing is that when we looked in towards Inferno, it was Romania who were good on the pistol, good on these kind of lower buys, but the gun rounds in the first half were very favorable over towards Portugal. So, is the script flipped here, or is it going to continue with Portugal being very good on gun rounds, which actually could be a real problem for Romania, since they don't have that pistol.
They're going to need those conversions. They're going to need to find themselves 5v4s. And who better than to find those opening picks than Zello? Up close and personal here in middle. And head spotted. IGL down, but Crazy obviously going to be there for the refrag. Dink up onto a drawn. Don't know if that's confirmed or not, but upgrades available here for the sniper. And Portugal back away. They don't want to commit to this, especially considering the bomb is alone in upper tunnels.
In a real awkward way, Zello actually couldn't get out of there. Because they had the box behind him, he should have been spammed. So I think as much as it doesn't work out, the best thing he could have done is actually tried to fight there and get another. It just doesn't actually end up paying off. And anyway, beats out Utah once again, and TMKJ on a drive-by. What a shot, he gets both. That might be the round alone. I think Romania probably got a save.
That's more impact there from TMKJ. Deathless right now to start out Dust 2. And things are looking splendid here for Portugal.
I mean, 2 save rifles. It's okay. It's not great. Is that the real issue? And it gives us now a bit of a predicament on the flip side, where now it's pistols, force, and gun rounds going the way of Portugal. On their opponent's map pick, they're looking very good indeed. So they're going to get an easy 3, probably 4-0 start. I mean, that in itself, pretty damn solid. They're looking for a hunt at the end. I don't think they're going to get close enough. So it won't be an issue in that regard. A 3-0 for Portugal. I'm not really having to work too hard for it, I think is the worrying thing. TMKJ, 8-0 in the first 3 rounds of action.
Yeah.
Pretty ridiculous stat line for him. Already making his presence known. He did it against Mongolia, and we touched on that quite a few times. He had so much impact there. Did go a little quiet in towards map number 1, but hey, this is a best of 3 and better late than never.
Yeah, he's found his redemption and then some. Rafa had the long spawn looking for a timing. Oh, they need it open as well, but Rafa finds his man regardless. It took a little bit of time, but Jakarta hits the deck. And Portugal have their 5v4 that they can rest on. And instantly, look at the response from Romania. They don't want to give up long control entirely, so they send 3 players to lean over. But now a hole spotted in middle, and Snappy has his eyes set on this B-bomb site once more.
Portugal been so good at these numbers advantage situations in towards this map so far. B-site is without a doubt where they're just trying to pressure on. And it's a Tron too, right? We actually spoke about this when we last saw them on Dust 2.
Yeah, it's true.
Same thing, they were putting all the pressure on towards a Tron, and my assumption is that Portugal maybe took a little look at the Vito or something of the sort, and they want to try and do exactly that. He was getting burnt to a crisp, he tried a couple of pop shots with the Deagle, and sure, a bit of damage dealt, but no kills, doesn't really matter.
Yeah, there's no way there's going to be a look in here, especially from these 2 rifles. Zello and BTN heading for the hills. Raga, any damage is great, but he'll have none of that confirmed. He can basically post up here at Car, and he'll get offered up a couple of kills for sure. At least you'd like to think if they're exiting from that end, but if Portugal are smart, they can even exit through lower considering that's been cleared out.
And this play with Snappy, he might actually be able to wrap in, cause a bit of a problem. I just don't know whether Rag is actually looking towards CT. Yeah, he is. So that's the issue. He's double scoping on it. Oh, reactions are pretty pristine there.
He's going to try to pick it up.
Yeah, that's going to cost him his life. That's the real awkward thing. Unless he doesn't go for this. But if he does, probably should die here. Oh, and he will. Yeah. He got there in the end.
Well, look, he's been playing with house money there. He was always going to upgrade regardless of what happened. So it's no real issue in the long term for Romania. But either way, Portugal, dream start here on Dust 2, looking to claw this series back, this grand final. A ripe opportunity for both of these nations to claim a land trophy. An opportunity that doesn't come often. It's long control again here for Portugal. And instead of backing out after the pick from Rafa, instead they're just going to sit on this pit control.
Yeah, I love this. I mean, Crazy went flying out along there. He wasn't looking for anyone. There's a big gap in that smoke, actually. Hang on a moment. This flash through does net Jakarta one. And the ability to get out. That's the most important thing. If he stuck around, that's an overextension. That could be quite costly.
Still a gap in this one. And it looked like Zello was watching that cross, but cannot connect the shots required. Rafa is there to take out Jakarta. And now Zello starts to feel a little bit of the heat. Bomb still not having gone down means BTN can fire down range. Minute left on this clock, and so there's plenty of time for Portugal, but they're bleeding bodies, and they need frags. Rafa hits the deck, but TMKJ, still deathless in this map of Dust 2, has to drag them a little bit further.
The unkillable king, it seems, head spotted, but with a whiff there, should be punished. Whether it's a drawn or most likely Zello, but an uncharacteristic miss. A dink. Both of them tagged down low, time ticking, dwindling, 2 versus 2. They're re-aggressing, running out of ammo. And TMKJ bomb on his back, he's sprinting towards B. It's a foot race in which you'll win.
Yeah, and it's very clear to Romania that they think that he's still long, or maybe he's an Ellie, and they're quickly realize that he's already absconded the scene. Bomb confirmed. It's not an ideal plan for anything crazy, but he has to jump up instantaneously, and they're not aware that he could be at window that fast. Now onto a drone, the stand-in called upon, having to dethrone TMKJ, make him fall to pieces for the first time on this map too. But the matter of timing is beautiful here from TMKJ, and who other than him to just boost the efforts of Portugal here on map 2.
The unkillable king, 11-0. TMKJ just cannot seem to die, and Romania cannot seem to buy a round. How does he get away with another clutch like that? Another 1 versus 2, as he did just a few rounds ago, but this time it was of even less points of HP. It felt like an impossible situation, and he just somehow, some way, reads it like a book.
Long control established now for Portugal, and TMKJ gets out yet again. A lot of options that Portugal have gone through with here. Where they get pit control and they try to go flying through long smokes. And while it didn't actually work, it still netted them the round. Do they want to commit to that play again?
Yeah, what are we actually going to go for here?
They're considering that long crawl, and I don't think it's a bad play. They just can't miss that cross smoke, and this time it's nailed it. There is no gap.
That's it. There's a lot of bodies here for Romania, but then they're going to pull Zello away.
What?
Doesn't matter though, Jakarta, that's spam. Just on instinct there, but it works. A lot of time will come down, he'll reposition. It's causing a lot of problems towards Raga too. And jumping up on short box. It's Laban. TMKJ finally goes down. Not before he gets 12 kills in the 6 rounds played. Raga still here. That's an audacious swing and one that doesn't pay off. Needing more from him and getting both. Atron making his presence known. Peach needs both of them himself, but he does damage towards one. That is Zello, but it's not enough. Romania finally get around, and finally, starts to get a little bit loud over here.
Yeah, and again, we draw comparisons to previous matches in this tournament. Keeping that energy up regardless of the scoreline and making sure that those tensions aren't there, that every comeback is possible. And it certainly is. You're still seeing potency out of these individuals. Chicardo finding impact, and now Raga and a drone chiming in as well. Instant timeout being called from Portugal, understandably so. They don't want to bleed any rounds off in this first half. They want to continue this death ball.
I mean, the way that Portugal started out in towards this map, we've probably got to be looking at them and sort of talking about and considering bare minimum 7, probably at least 8. This has been a really good T side. There's been very few gaps in the armor, and even though that one falls flat, they're still going to be exuding confidence. They've still got money left in the bank as well for this one and the next. So, yeah, I don't think there's really a world in which they need to be too concerned. It's probably just about, all right, take a breather. They finally bit back. Just what do we do wrong? How do we just replenish that in towards the next?
Yeah, they're getting the long crawl. They're getting to ramp pretty safely.
Yeah.
Obviously, Chicardo gets a little lucky on the spam, but they've just got to find a way to deal with Zello in the back of the site. Of course, we'll review and re-review that play as it inevitably comes later on in this half, but for right now, Portugal trying to find an answer with Rafa in the upper tons, and with that not being found, they're going to slow this round down a whole lot more than they have for the rest of this game.
Yeah, first time where they really sort of out the gates of the round, pump the brakes and evaluate what is actually the best point of action here. We've got very good control towards short, and I think they're probably a little bit perplexed because no mid presence, no short presence. So then they've got to be thinking something's up. They smell something fishy. It's just where.
Short control established for Portugal at this point. Mid also being a problem. Cross smokes through left and right, giving an avenue here for Snappy to find some answers. Fortunately, nothing being given to them. Very stalwart is the CT defense. And actually, Snappy considering to go through. I think Raga is spotted. He's calming, moving his mouth as fast as possible. Brilliant. And there it is. Zello clips his wings. And now Rafa will hold the line. A little bit overzealous there from Zello. And now they've got to clear out the pit player. They do that just as well. BTN, the last man left on the site. And a drone's got to help out. He swings for the fences and Crazy's there. All these holes that could potentially have been an issue for Portugal all get quelled.
Last man, Raga tagged, dropped, Napij sealed the deal, and well, right back to winning ways here for Portugal. And a real tilt of a round for Romania. I think they're just a little bit too angsty to really kind of force around in their favor. Like Zello, he gets that first on the CT player, that Raga comes over. There's no need to push there.
I think you tuck back in Ellie, right? That's
well,
it.
even I think probably even for me, the way I would try and do that is fall back onto site to have a crossfire with Chicardo, stop them swinging in towards Chicardo on picks. What happens is Zello dives to Rafa, and then Rafa knows Chicardo's in pit, and then swings and kills both of them. So they give two ISA to fight because they overextend, and because they actually don't peak at the same time.
Tough situation, but you've got to learn to roll with the punches and adapt, forgive and forget. Portugal now snapping the money once more of the CT side, grinding this series back to a third. And of course, that would just be the most Portugal thing to happen, you know?
Yeah.
Get just eviscerated and heartbroken on the first map, nearly getting it off across the finish line, and then just battle back, relentlessly battle back.
At the very least, we knew it was going 3.
Yeah.
Gonna be no other way.
Map picks don't matter.
Yeah, exactly. It should be one of those, you know, if you draw first blood and take the first map, you should just be like, oh, I've got to lose the next one.
Over. It's over.
You've got to make this a best of 1 in the third map. Romania have got to dig incredibly deep in this map if they want any sort of a chance. I mean, I probably want to talk about them getting, at this point, because it's going to be a 7th, or it should be a 7th here, probably bare minimum 4 rounds. As wild as I say, it's better than nothing. It's the only thing that's probably going to give them a bit of a chance. Zello, backside, gets the support of his rifle at the very least, and Zello hasn't poked his head round, so he might get 1. That's the bomb. That's huge. Time of the essence. It starts to tick down, and BTN starts to make his name known. Big round, big eco for Romania. That's the sort of round that potentially flips the script.
I mean, great patience there from Zello. There's absolutely no need to swing out. Why would you expect a second player stuck in the site? It's so unlikely,
Yeah.
and Zello capitalizes. As soon as the bomb is dropped, chaos ensues. Every player that can get to the scene of the crime has to pounce through. They go charging through the B door smoke. They go charging through window, and Jakarta lets it rip with the rifle picked up. What a round there to recover, and you spoke about having to dig deep. That's one of those key rounds to start that process.
Yeah, absolutely. That could be the difference maker. That could be the one. Player into a slower. It's a missed shot as well from both sides. At least Rafa's down. That's an important kill because he's been getting a lot of leeway at range.
Good trade from Crazy, though. Very necessary. You don't want Raga to spiral out of control and find a multi. And with that trade back, nobody really anticipating an opening gambit from Romania. They're very keen on just holding on to long via Chikardao and let the play come to them. I don't mind it at all. After all, CT side on Dust 2, it does come down to being a lot more reactive than proactive. And Chikardao is teed up for one here, maybe even two.
If he plays as well, he could even get 3. It's just whether they clear him. I feel like they've got to clear him. This late in a round, it should get cleared. It will get cleared. He spots one. He gets a half on towards Crazy.
Yeah.
They will still fall all the same. So it's 3 versus 3. But honestly, a very doable one for Romania because of how low they are. BTN, he might even double back at the right time, and he leads by example with an important double. And the unkillable TMKJ is now starting to drop. Running out of ammo. And BTN's had a really solid round. 3 kills to his name. To go positive for him. And to bring some positivity towards Romania because they've broken the econ of Portugal. I said bare minimum 4, but...
They can pull it all the way back at this point. I mean, omniscient is BTN there. The awareness... I mean, I'm not necessarily sure if he got the sound cue, that's a possibility, but still, just the fact that he isolates those 1v1s
I think he
is
heard
still
that
very
short
important.
player because he jumped up the stairs for some reason.
Right, yeah. Well, I think he's thinking that, oh, my long players have scaled. I've got to support in some way. I need to be there. It's a rock and a hard place type situation there for that short player, and unfortunately for him, BTN was just on one.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't do it all the time. We know he has it in the locker.
Oh,
BTN.
of course,
he has the odd map here or there where he can have a lot of impact. And,
And what a time within the map 2 of a grand final, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You would love to have that.
Especially if Zello's playing, a little bit quiet in the early part by his standards. Oh my god, he was fighting a battle on 2 fronts there, one above, one below. Crazy trying to overwhelm. The Glock's not doing as much as they would have hoped. Pistol pulled out, it should be seen off, and it's flawless, just to make it even that much sweeter. And back-to-back 3Ks for BTN. He's a happy chappy.
Oh, absolutely. Cash flowing now for Romania. They're good for the rest of the half, for sure. If you want to get a little cheeky here, a little unorthodox, now's your time. You can play with that house money, and as we spoke about, 4 should be enough. If they can pull it all the way back, that would be fantastic, but if BTN has something in the locker, something in the playbook that hasn't been attempted just yet, now's the time to use it.
Ooh. I wasn't far off for a flick. Zello's got a good angle here. He might get a chance. He misses it, though. Snappy, quite smartly, actually jumps past that angle.
Yeah.
But Jakarta full blind, or somewhat blind at least, gets Crazy.
That's through a bit of util as well, I think, on the long side. Crazy falls. And now Portugal have got to find a way through. Snappy has
Raga's
made
dead.
it all the way through. That is a free kill, but Snappy wants more, and he's heard the other player on this B bomb side on the other end. He's going to spin around a drone, or Raga rather, and he fits the deck. TMKJ is there, and a complete defensive collapse there for Romania, completely unaware that CT spawn could be open.
Do you know what's the big issue there? Zello pulls away from mid, so he just leaves it barren, and, it's a kind of a crazy decision, but Snappy just walks out. No util, full contact, but he gets so much info.
I just don't get how that happens because you've
Zello,
got a double play in lower,
Yeah.
right? You've got Raga or I think maybe Chikardao in lower alongside him. Maybe it's good enough, but they're really thinking about going for this.
Well, that won't help. Your own smoke, your lurk smoke, falling flat. And even when Zello's no-scopes aren't hitting, something's awry.
Yeah. BTN gets 3 there, and actually does a hell of a lot of damage to the Portugal economy. They don't get out of that one completely unscathed. So they won't have the prettiest purchase in the final round of the half, whereas Romania absolutely will.
Yeah.
So a 5th round here is still a possibility for the CT side. They would love that considering how this half has started out.
Well, final round. At least they have that full buy. That's a silver lining off the back of what was a really uncomfortable round, ultimately. No Peach. Went for a little bit of a fight over towards Long. This time kept at bay. Zello gets another opener. Crazy's actually been struggling in these opening duels. He's over 3 in the last 3 rounds.
Yeah. Tough stuff. But it's always going to be difficult if Zello's in the server. Now, how do they play with this man advantage? Good flash to get Zello back on that line, and Rafa cannot find the necessary shot.
This time, Molotov comes down. So nobody's going to be creeping their way outdoors and getting the big flank on B. It's those sort of rounds, though, where it's a complete breakdown in comms, which does really sow the seeds of doubt and worry you about Romania a little bit. We know they like this map, but that's never a good sign. Top teams don't do that. Flash avoided the first, but you can't on the second. Not so much. It's a bit of damage, sure. Oliver else on Zello. He's got to try and stop them on the cross. He does miss. Flashbang will come over. Again, pretty effective in all fairness, but it doesn't matter when no Peach rips heads. 3 versus 3, bomb planted. And a missed shot from Rafa. It's real scrappy as Raga tries to fly into the fight. BTN got to do it all alone. He's been good on the 3Ks. This one feels, though, considerably more difficult. So many angles to clear. But he's surely got to expect that short player is supporting Rafa here on towards Gandalf. No, an audacious one there.
He's hoping
he can
he
spam
can find
this.
him. Yeah, spam is possible, and the shot missed again. He's running out of bullets, but BTN's running out of time, and sure, he finds one, but the 8th is secured for Portugal. It gets a little scrappy there, and you get a little worried considering Zello's on ramp, that primo position where he's had so many highlights, and yet this time around, it's not possible. Portugal genuinely just eyeing up that 3rd map.
Yeah. And unfortunately for Romania, just like a complete shadow of their former selves. They had a lot of nice protocols in towards Inferno, and it felt like, even probably not the case because there's limited time to prep, and I don't even know if Romania would have expected Portugal to be here. I think we were expecting Serbia, right? So I'm going to assume prep was limited for this matchup, and a lot of the focus is just on yourself in these sort of back-to-back tournament formats. But if there was, maybe all the focus was on the map pick of Portugal, not their own map pick, and what Portugal can bring to Dust 2. Maybe a little too overconfident off the back of a grueling overtime. Snappy taking first contact. They're barreling out towards Long, but Crazy does very, very well to get a kill, get back. We don't need to fight here, especially because he's alone. He wants to buy time for rotations to come forward. He needs support. The only issue is they're overlooking him a little bit. Raga trusting his teammates to be able to isolate that fight. Thankfully for them, they are. Jakarta, Raga combine effectively to leave it all down to one man. And Rafa, the P2K, surely no chance. Jakarta, great round from him.
Decisive round there from Romania, just trying to barrel their way into that A side, making sure that they have short presence. And as soon as they get up that ramp, it's round over. They've isolated Crazy, regardless of him finding him a kill. And they make sure they never gets comfortable. And, credit to Crazy for staying alive for as long as possible and allowing for the short players to come through. But the shots are just too clean there from the T side. They get that start that they're looking for. Portugal go for a complete save. They go for the Anders flash, and maybe they'll find a kill as well.
My favorite, or his favorite, I should say.
Well, his favorite can be your favorite too.
It's true, it's true. We can all have similar favorites. BTN making his way forward. Eve is a good flash here. BTN could farm. But I don't want him to go completely alone, but actually he's going to go contact. He spots the shadow as well. That allows him one more. Pretty nice work. He spots ahead. Pulls out the P250. Not bad in this spot. It's all about just combining together, isolating the fight. Sure, there's a consolation, but it doesn't matter in the end. 2-round game. And this is the big thing about finding a pistol in an 8-4 deficit. It's only one gun round the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, I'm very curious to see what Portugal have in store. We've seen the amount of impact that Rafa can have on this AWP, and he had significant levels of impact across this first map and here on Dust 2 as well, but he won't have that to play those long lines in mid this time around. Romania have a real opportunity to lay down the law. ETN holds the scout in middle and actually cannot find anything. Instead, it's Zello to fall to no Peach.
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know where
Looks
that
like it
was.
over at long from the looks of it.
Just a long spam fight, basically.
I'm thinking, yeah.
That's tough. Oh, yeah, there you go. BTN will just pick up his AK. Now, Peach, a bit more of a spam for that smoke, but there is someone lurking there. The issue is, look at John. Oh, he's spotted another. He does get the shot. Oh, my God. What a shot from a Tron. BTN actually just going to hold for a push. Oh, my God, BTN, he doesn't even realize he's in the best angle and maybe even for both. BTN, that is bountiful. And now, all down to no Peach, surely, no chance.
No, not at all. He doesn't realize how boxed in he is at this point. He's got to fight his way out. And he's got to deal with this threat of the lurk in BTN. But BTN's not giving up any bit of this position.
Running a Rafa.
Oh, and now he's pinned.
Oh.
And he's bursted down as well. What a round from the captain. 20 kills the good. Wow.
Oh my God, he is carrying.
He wants it. He wants it so bad.
He's actually hard carrying right now. Because Zello is negative, which might be the first time this entire tournament.
Genuinely, yeah.
Wow. And funny enough, it's the old guard that are putting up the numbers, right? Because it's BTN and Raga, the two stalwarts of Nexus. And of the Romanian scene, are the ones putting up the bulk of the frags. Ah, this time though, he may be able to out-aim, but sadly he can't shoot nades.
Yeah, can't cheat death like that, but Zello will find a necessary pull back. Snappy hits the deck, and it's still a low buy. It's still a favored round here for Romania in this even keel position. And they just have to reset. They just got to find a different avenue of approach, and short seems to be that answer.
Yeah.
Now, a drone will take that first contact. He'll realize that there really is no pushback. It's just Rafa on the Deagle.
Yeah. So, moving their way up. Ooh, flash just missed there for the T side. Oh, they're going to move their way forward. Tap in from Raga, important. As Rafa falls, they don't realize it just yet how much space they've got towards A, and also the fact that Portugal aren't giving this a go. This will be Romania tying this game up 8 apiece. And we might now somehow have a game on our hands. This was looking completely off the cards. But Portugal's CT side is showing a lot of holes, unfortunately. And Romania are starting to expose them.
It was never going to be easy for Portugal to push this through a third map. Resiliency has been the #1 kind of factor, I feel, throughout this tournament. Sweden couldn't overcome it. Germany couldn't either. And maybe Portugal can, but right now, the numbers and the eye test is making me lean Romania's way.
I'm with you. 4 for 4. Pistol, conversion, full buy, half buy. All of which go the way of Romania. But the thing that worries me most is that momentum is ramping up for this T side. They're in an incredible spot at the moment. This full buy back in place. And for Portugal, if they were to lose this, we could talk about Romania getting a 10-8 scoreline. Nade breaks open the smoke. Zello, he does get the tag on towards Rafa. I don't even know if he spotted him there, but the nade of Zello will. We spoke about BTN cheating death, and Rafa meets the same fate. Death by HE. Oh, the more awkward. They're going to ramp up towards a short play, and once again, 0 A presence for Portugal. Last time they had just 1, and he died. That was Rafa, who died early in this one. So now Snappy will rotate back over, but they're already on the site itself, and he will fall. And it's too late. There's a long player here. But no Peach's impact's probably going to be incredibly minimal. Sure, he may make it the lurker of Chikard, but I don't think it's even going to make a grand difference. Oh, hang on.
Oh.
Yeah, he didn't spot it. The radar did, but he reacts too late.
Man, snapshot there from Chikard out. And every individual that you were hoping to wake up definitely is now at this point. BTN has kept this team alive for so long, and now you can let the youngsters loose. You can let them have the kind of impact you were hoping for, and a drone rips away the last rifle as well.
He was waiting for it as well.
He absolutely was.
He was there for like 30 seconds. If he just goes for one peek to the left, and Jakarta was like the human flashbang.
Wow.
Another
And
timeout.
now, yeah, Portugal, they can feel it. They can feel this game slipping away at the seams. And Nuke, so close yet so far at this point. And for Romania, just 4 rounds the difference between overtime or that trophy.
I know. Crazy. 4 more rounds is all that Romania need. What a spot they put themselves in. 5 rounds in a row they've had here on this T-side too, just to make it all the more sweeter. And to make matters even worse, and leave a sour taste in your mouth, Portugal barely have a bye here. We've got a double MP9, double Scout, and a Deagle. This is one that doesn't really fill me with a lot of hope.
No, definitely not. I mean, this is also one of those rounds that could completely turn the tide of the game if they can somehow pull it off, right? It's that last boost of adrenaline they would need to kind of pull it back.
Same way Romania did earlier, right, on that eco.
Yeah.
When Zello got the P250 kill, they flipped the script. And this could be the one for Portugal. If they want any chance of flipping the script, it has to be here and now. But Raga looks like he wants to commit towards his long play. Snappy's holding in towards top mid. He's got the right idea. I don't know if he knows there's someone there. It seems like the way he's clearing, he does. He will clear this, and he will find it. So that's a big kill towards BTN. He was that insurance policy who falls. They've quad stacked A now as well. They know they're coming here. So it's a bloodbath. It's just who's going to come on top. Scout, miss shot, spam. Great. As Adron and Raga put a 2-piece together to give them some space to work with. And Jakarta gets a taste of it himself. All down to 1 man, though. Pete in a 1 versus 2. One which feels very difficult. The body blocks, the corpse blocks it, so he doesn't spot no pigeon towards CT. That's the CS2 realism for you right there.
Immersion.
I mean, he still has so much to do, so much space to close down. With an MP9, no kit, and now spotted. They don't even need to fight. They might be tempted by it though, and they will jump on top. Assassin's Creed style as Raga sees it off. There's double digits, 3 rounds away.
The lead broadens now for Romania. Just a couple bye rounds away. It inches ever closer, and Portugal, the clock must strike 12 at some point. And that Cinderella story, it might have a cruel ending.
So close.
Double up. We're getting into desperation station at this point, Neo.
I mean, Rafa's not looked bad, but it's not been as lights out as it was towards map number 1. I mean, same for Zello too, right? Both AWPers have actually struggled on what is a very AWP-prevalent map. So after the rifling core is about to step up, Flash is so good. Snappy forced back. And the Molotov might even keep him there too.
Complete standstill now. Romania can sense that they've got Portugal on the ropes and that they'd be right. Who is the hero to step up for Portugal at this point? Who will crack it open? Snappy on this double op? No Peach, crazy. I mean, all of these players have had their moments to claw things back, but they need somebody to find it.
It's got to be said, this double up here, right, it is, you know, we're talking about desperation, but it's also such a gamble. Because you lose this,
money,
we're probably talking about Romania getting 12, right? Map, series, grand final point. All could hinge off the back of just this round alone. And we're going back towards B. And if I'm right in saying, this is the first time we've been B on this T side.
Yeah, I don't think that they've really ended all too often here. Rafa posted up in the back of Plat, has an opportunity to line up a couple here before the
Oh.
Molotov goes down. You see the body,
What?
but he gets absolutely eviscerated. A drone hits the deck. TMKJ now on an island, and he finds nothing. Zello cuts off the mid-rotation. 15 seconds, it doesn't matter. Romania gets the bomb down. 2 more rounds to go.
Zello will fall though. 2 versus 2. I don't want to say round on, but Uto is thin and scarce over towards Romania, so they got to fight. Snappy, he's holding over towards back plat. He might not clear this. Smoke going to come down, and that'll cost him his life as a Tron. What a round from the youngster. That is nothing short of special. That first shot on towards the back plat player, the one tap of the AK, maybe one of the most ridiculous shots we've seen all tournament. That was a pre-fire of the umpteenth regard, and well, Romania off the back of stealing away a great round like that, they're going to make them sit on it with a timeout.
What a sequence there from Adron. You know, I called it a bit premature because I'm thinking Zello probably lives there. But the fact that Portugal makes it close had me sweating. I'm sure Romania felt it as well. But Adron releases all pressure. The stand-in called upon mere weeks before this tournament. And found a way to let his presence be known here for this team. And now, just 2 rounds away. Destiny is calling, Neo. It couldn't happen in Yash. But maybe, just maybe, that second time is the charm.
Exactly. They've already got revenge over the enemy that felled them last year. Might be a bit more of a trophy on top of it. Zello wants to sit in that nade, but no P comes behind it. Look at the buy for Portugal too. Double the Eagle, 5-7, and P9. TMKJ on that M4. And I think it's safe to say TMKJ's kill, or his KD, is actually very representative of sort of actually how Portugal have been. He was 11-0 up when they were 6-0 up. And it started to dwindle, and he should have done bad, up to 18, but 13 more deaths have come in that span.
What a dramatic switch up here for Romania.
Yeah.
And now Portugal near head in hands, wondering who that saving grace will be, if there is a savior to be had. And right now, Romania, they want to keep it simple. They have short control. They have the utility. Here comes the execution. Rafa up to bat.
Raga, first, it's actually really labored. And it cost him. He gets his head off his shoulders with a lovely shot from Rafa. He's been relatively quiet throughout this map, but we don't clear the Goose player. Oh, the panic and the success. That is such a big mistake from Crazy. He had the chance to punish and maybe even get a second behind it, and it all starts to fall apart. Small mistakes that compound at a rapid pace have cost Portugal. And Romania find themselves at 12. There's no Peach. I mean, what can he actually even do? At the very most, a consolation kill. Maybe a rifle scooped up, but it does not matter. And we have now got them playing for overtime, and they've got to go 4 rounds in quick succession.
You know, they've had some crazy moments throughout this tournament, no pun intended, of course. But genuinely, this feels like a bridge that they cannot cross. It feels like destiny that Romania lift the trophy here in Riyadh.
I think you're right. And only the one casualty too. So it's a last hurrah of a bye. We should have Rafa in towards the AWP. We're going to double it up with Snappy as well, but last time out wasn't pretty. Snappy couldn't get any impact. So it's one of those of, is this the right decision? Is Snappy going in with... Wait, he's not going to glass cannon.
I mean, surely it's not worth it at this point.
No.
Talk about putting all the chips to the center of the felt, man.
Glass cannon at this point in the game. They're going to go with the boost
Wow.
on, it does work. So, Rafa gets one. A big one towards Zello. Zello couldn't even spot him there.
Unorthodox boost there, and Snappy with a secondary AWP. Perhaps the risk would pay off. Instant 3v5 for Portugal. Maybe the clock hasn't struck 12. Maybe there's just a little bit more gas left in the tank.
Adron, he'll scoop up the big green, and he wants to try and wield it himself. He creeps his way forward. It's a peek that favors him on that right eye, but he drops down. So it's not quite as impactful here, but he's creeping under. Adron basically cost his teammate. There's BTN will also drop. He's going straight into the trap. He'll move back up. Bomb on his back, but what feels like quite an impossible 2 versus 5 here.
Yeah, it's just how much damage can they do to keep the economy honest if you're Romania. Another tag found for a drone, but no bags. And now Romania continue to bleed the clock. Portugal don't have to give too much away, and Rafa hits a great flick. These ops have found everything right now to keep Portugal in this. And a drone, while his days are numbered, he will find a couple more, maybe a little bit there. But got a little bit more to deal with.
It's going to hurt the econ.
Yeah, and I mean, those Glock kills actually will have reverberations for the rest of this game. Genuinely.
Someone's got to take a hit here. TMKJ can go in.
MP9?
Yeah, double MP9.
Crazy's got one too.
So that actually has big ramifications. Just those 3 kills at the end. Okay. Romania still just 1 step away. Portugal a less than adequate buy, but at least they still got that double AWP in play. Rafa sits just behind that molly actually. Takes a bit of a tag, but now got a strong angle. He knows that he's vulnerable towards lower, so he'll dip back. He doesn't have that support there.
We slow down. Aggression. Hold that thought. All the way through for the CTs to go straight at Raga. And he has an opportunity for a couple, but he decides to just hold on to this map control instead. The main point of attack here for Romania, coming on that long side. And again, respecting the utility, respecting the space. And it's really up to Raga here to maybe find an incision in middle.
If he peeks in towards CT, he could have got a kill, but that was before that smoke plumed. Got a minute to work with, an alert smoke from Raga dropped. Maybe they should try and draw a bit of attention. A double split in through B. One's pushing towards upper tunnels. So Snappy alone gained so much info. Rafa pushing, Rafa finding, and the bomb drop to make it better. But an answer back is Ella once more. The flash is sumptuous as Raga, his util usage alone in this round might have been the difference maker. The swing from a Dron who hits all the way for the home run. And with 30 seconds left, this bomb will go down. Zello up close, a swing and a find. As Snappy falls, and the IGL's the call from the grave. TMKJ went 11-0 to start off this map. And now has to find a 1 versus 4 with an MP9 at half HP. Surely an impossible situation, and not to be. Romania, revenge earlier against Sweden. And it tastes so sweet as they follow it up with a trophy. What a response, what a series, what a tournament. Romania, congratulations, man.
What a story. What a story after being destroyed in the top 4 at Yash. Finding an opportunity and capitalizing upon it in the most difficult of scenarios. 1,642 maps, 8 years and 4 months for BTN on Nexus. And it's been a long time coming here for this organization, but Romania, let me hear you. You're champions of IESF. Congratulations, Romania.
As you can see, BTN, of course, you know, I'm super excited. I even messed up the name, man. That's how I was excited as well about that. How do you feel about this?
Well, I'm feeling amazing. I don't know, I have no words. I'm super excited. I'm really proud.
Everybody is pretty much right now. I know this has been a long one in the making. And now, right here on Saudi lands, you made it happen. The first match, overtime, and then the second one, we were like, what's gonna happen, what's gonna happen? It's pretty much a close one, and you snatched the win. So anything you want to say back to your hometown, to your friends, family, and fans?
Well, I'm gonna say this in Romanian so everyone can understand me. Vă iubim mult de tot, vă mulțumim toți pentru susținere și hai România încă o dată!
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, your champions at the CS2 Open Tournament right here at WEC24 IESF Riyadh, Team Romania!